compulsion leads us into our final topic that I've been putting on the back burner for a while, but now is a good time. As I mentioned, we're in the middle of releases for Xbox. South of Midnight just came out. Oblivion tomorrow, possibly. Doom in just a few weeks. Clair Obscure soon. And that's not even the whole list of things. We have so many announced slash unannounced projects. I'm going to take some time to fill in of where we think these are going to drop because they have so much at this point now that it's almost hard predicting stuff. You look at stuff before, it would be like, oh yeah, this is a good fall game. This is a good September type game. But now we're at the point where they can just drop stuff really wherever they want and have it succeed or not. So I got a good list I can send your way. I probably should have done that already. Of titles that we have. Again, some are revealed, some are not revealed. Stuff like Double Fine is floating in the ether somewhere. But to kick us off, we have this year done. Outer Worlds 2 in the fall. Don't need to worry about that. Doom in a few weeks. Don't need to worry about that. Ninja Gaiden 4. Don't need to worry. But it kicks us off with our first title to look at, which is Fable. Which is safe to say, I mean, obviously 2026, because this is delayed till next year. But where at in 2026? Do we think this got a whole fall release pushback? Do we think this is going to sort of take the May early in the year major title to kick things off with how much time they need still? I need to copy. Oh, Fable. What do you think?
Oh man, I was
Oh, you
muted.
I was gonna say, I was like, you're small, I couldn't tell.
I was roasting you about how you need to move the 2028 back up to be in line with 2026 and 2027 because you moved them down, moved them back up, and then you just made 2020.
I'm learning Canva.
I'm just. It's funny. Sorry about being muted. I gotta pay attention to that. Yeah, Fable. I keep forgetting it got delayed, honestly, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe. I would expect Fable to be in probably a Doom Dark Ages slot or like May-ish time, but I want it to be where Avowed was, right? February-ish, right in the middle, or right kick off the year. Don't do any big direct. We'll probably get some gameplay stuff like in the summer showcase. Like I want to see what it would look like when someone has hands on the controller, right? Walking around. What are the quest stuff? With a bigger direct being next year's developer_direct. That will be one of the highlights is Fable. And then we'll get a deeper dive and then it will come out February, March, April, May being the far end, which I would not hope for, but be able to jump into a big game like we had with Avowed early in the year to kick off, I think that would be a really strong strategy. It's worked so far with Xbox, and if you have Outer Worlds coming out in fall, I think that makes the most sense. And of course, Fable also could be fall next year in 2026 or 2025. No, 2026. It would also make sense. It wouldn't surprise me for if they're going to bill it as a big tentpole, take the Starfield slot, the Outer Worlds 2 slot. It would not surprise me or upset me if they took that long. But I like Xbox's cadence. I think you need to further solidify that we're all year, baby, and get to develop_direct into a big release like Fable. So yeah, I guess I'm saying spring 2026 is when I expect Fable.
Yeah, I want to say early. I think that to me that makes more sense, but it really relies on what other title, which is going to be the next one I say, because it depends if that one comes out in fall. This would be okay to be in spring. If not, I don't think this got a whole year and a half long delay. To me, that is wild. The way they even describe the delay is just wanting to really just fine tune everything and polish everything up. That does not
like
scream
Avowed.
like Avowed, yeah.
I feel
Um,
like they found success with that time window. I really do.
and that's what it takes, right? Like you have one launch there, super good, and it puts faith in that spot for marketing.
And
Um,
hey, you could put Fable anywhere. You can, like, it's
it's
anywhere.
just don't do it
People will
as
show up
December.
as long as it's good.
Yeah. Um, I agreed to showcase obviously gameplay. Hopefully, I want none of the this is in-engine gameplay stuff. Actually, like have the HUD on, do a little mission, side quest, whatever it is. Give me that, and then obviously, yeah, developer direct next year, kick it off. Have that be the big thing. Sits real nice with me.
Yeah. I
The
want to
next,
show me the actors you got.
they've been showing you the actors in the trailers. Well, two of them.
Are they in the game though?
You would
Or
assume.
are they just for the app? You would assume, but that's the issue. When you assume, you make an ass out of yourself.
You would assume. The one it relies on to me, we got revealed last year with constant rumors of when this thing's actually launching. And that's Gears of War E-Day. There's been so many things of this dropping fall this year, this being a next year title, and there's a lot of ways to look at it where I can still see it being fall, and I can see that being the reason Outer Worlds 2 is the big developer Jesus. Big developer thing at the showcase this year to give it a little extra oomph to be releasing alongside Gears. Or it's just to have it be the big fall release. We don't know its exact date yet or will that really falls in. Um so Gears I'm up in the air. I again if it's not fall this year, I don't think it's a spring 2026. Gears to me just name alone feels like a more fall, you want that September, October, November type spot. So I'm up in the air of where to put this. I would love to be 2025. I think that would be killer this year with the way the landscape is and where things are releasing. Gears sounds like a super awesome thing right now. But
Yeah. Damn. But today, the thing is, we don't really know big games the rest of the year outside of Outer Worlds 2 and Ninja Gaiden, right?
yeah, that's
That
the last
so
two.
like, I'd imagine Gears is this year. I think if you're moving one, not that Fable and Gears go head to head, but like IP wise, right? You put them in pretty close to each other, if not right on the same tier next to each other, right? So yeah, I honestly, I'm leaning towards we're gonna be getting a nice little showcase this, as part of the summer showcase. That's probably their Xbox's big ending thing, not Outer World, like not, obviously the Outer Worlds direct after. But I bet, yeah, we get some gameplay of Gears of War E-Day this June, and it comes out this fall. Again, you do not need to do a big direct of Gears of War. You just need to be like, here it is. It looks freaking awesome. You guys are gonna know that. We got Marcus and Dom back. Your little young ones, the little baby boys. Before it all happens, you're gonna see some cool, destructible environments, and we're gonna be a little dark. Like, that speaks for itself. I don't need a showcase, so
Okay.
I'm hoping it's this year, and I want to lean with that. I'm gonna say that as my prediction.
Yeah. Like I said, it sucks because I don't want to be like Outer Worlds 2 isn't big enough to be the big fall thing because it probably holds its own. We've seen it with Avowed, but for the big name factor where people are like, oh shit, I know that. I want to be a part of that. Gears fits that more in my mind, so
Yeah, I
Gears of
don't
War.
think that really matters as much, though.
It does. I could from marketing I could see though. Like what are we gonna put for fall commercials, TV commercials, YouTube spots? Like is
Yeah,
Outer
yeah.
Worlds 2 as big of a thing that we're gonna be, oh, here's a new Outer Worlds 2 trailer compared to oh shit, new Gears of War.
Again, I think those are just two very different things, and I think you're putting them head to head when they don't need to be. You're like what you're saying also lends to what kind of I was saying with like Gears doesn't need all that because you just put a Gears trailer, a live action trailer with one sad sounding song, one emotionally rot song, and it's sold. That's all people need. You just need one trailer, and people are gonna be there, right? Because it has that already. We're Outer Worlds 2. Yes, the sequel. How many people played the first one? I think you gotta buy them in and show them, hey, this isn't just a Obsidian RPG. This is Outer Worlds 2, right? An Obsidian RPG. So again, I think that just makes more sense. It needs to be showcased. Gears doesn't. You can just have a short marketing cycle and not spend a shit ton of money on it. You just have to let it drop, and that's all you need.
Fair enough. Continuing on with announced titles that we have been waiting on for a couple of years now. Next one up will be State of Decay 3, which was a 2021 reveal. Shadow Drop. 2021 reveal, I think. So a few years on that as well. Everything, especially Jez Corden on Twitter, is a big State of Decay guy. Everything he said is looking good and is farther along than people think, but it has been 3-4 years now at this point. This I could see not as a Shadow Drop this showcase, but I could see this getting a September type of release this year too. If not, absolutely a 2026. I don't think this gets pushed back to 2027, but it's one of the ones we know the absolute least on so far.
Yeah, I agree. I a shorter cycle here with like re-announcing almost this game, right? To release. I think, yeah, you could totally see this come out August, September. With the type of game it is, it makes sense for that slot as well. You assume there's a Call of Duty around there too, but again, it's just when you having variety is good, and I don't think that's a bad thing, and they kind of can help each other. It's like Barbieheimer, you know? You can make there's just because something is really big doesn't mean the other thing can't exist, and there's communities for everything. So yeah, I hope it's this year. That'd be cool for Xbox's cadence, because also they just need to show us more. If we don't see anything, I'm gonna be, I don't know. When they do eventually show it, it'll be fine, but I am hoping they show it soon. I liked State of Decay 2. I just couldn't get into it, so when they, a third one's like, cool, hands off. I'll wait till a third one, and hopefully that one clicks. It's just been so long, It's been so long. So I hope Xbox is closer to a Fallout 4 style release cadence with some games, as in E3, here it is, come out this fall. And it's like, whoa, like I think if Xbox can get into that with a couple of their studios with Developer Direct and the showcase, that's a fun cadence. And then you can build some excitement, like, sure, not Shadow Drop, but they're coming out within 6 months. Mm-hmm. Just don't tell us that, because that was a mistake. We come out once a year.
Yeah, the other thing with State of Decay that I feel helps it releasing sooner than later is it acts very much like a Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online, where State of Decay 2 had, 25 plus updates to it? Like, that game is going to have a lifespan outside of this list of releases, so get it out now.
You know what's... Sorry.
No, yeah, get it out now, and then building blocks, release it. And you just spend the next 3 years doing constant building and adding and just fine-tuning it to be what they want it to be, really.
That multiplayer genre of game too has completely evolved as well, I'd argue, from 2021 to now. I think it's at least completely shifted in the direction it's going. So delays, understandable, I think. They can only tell us so much and show off so much, but it kind of makes sense to rework some of these multiplayer titles and whatnot. It'd be real cool.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even think about, because yeah, State of Decay 2 launched May 2018. And yeah, that genre, the survival, crafting, building, like, that's hot now. And that could be...
Yeah. And it's not like State of Decay 2 was holding on to people endlessly and being the talk of the town. It was like, oh yeah, State of Decay 2 is great. It's solid. Good time. But yeah, so interesting. Hopefully. I mean, it's cool. It's good to hear, people who are down for that game. I haven't seen and heard much about it, but that they have seen it and they're like, it's going well and it's farther along than we want. Because like I said, it's always, that genre has always been intriguing to me, that of game, and then genre of story has always been intriguing. So
Yeah, 2
I'd
I
love
dipped
for us to
into.
be able to hop into it.
Yeah, I dipped into 2, but, like, it didn't hit for me either. Like, I just wanted more, I wanted things to be a little tighter, how systems worked that eventually got fine-tuned, like, the potential's there. Next one I'm
Yeah.
throwing in, Contraband, 'cause
Contraband.
this has been 2020, 2021 again?
I
Nothing
think this is
since.
a lock for this year.
Do you?
I think it is a lock. I think it's one of those games that Xbox has said we don't need to show off stuff. And it bit us in the ass with so many games like South of Midnight that we showed off too early and then we had to push back. So I think this is one of those games they showed off early. We've heard about it, we know, and we've seen nothing. It's been blind, but I wish I pulled this back up. But I did see a tweet talk like someone mentioned like, hey, be on the lookout. It's been a while since we said something, or maybe that was Star Wars Eclipse. I'm merging rumors. Um, I think this is something that totally could come out this year, and yeah, just shadow drop, and we get to see what type of game this is. And again, it's another AA tight scope game with something they are trying to accomplish, right?
Yeah, Contraband to me initially, I was strong 2026, but at this point, not being, I mean, it's a partnership game. Their Xbox isn't developer, it's Avalanche. Um, this to me feels
Okay.
like something that, hey, here's a new trailer. It's out this year. We don't need to build this up or do as much for it type thing. But yeah, I could see this year. I could also see them wanting to maybe hold it back just to avoid the amount of titles coming out or unannounced stuff, because that's sadly the void we're in with GTA still looming on the horizon somewhere. But eventually, people are going to have to start putting stuff out one way or another. So
Yeah, I'm trying to see what Avalanche, what are they making? What have they made? There's like 5 different Avalanche studios.
there is. I think this is the one, isn't it? The Just
Really
Cause
hard.
team,
Okay, cool.
I believe.
It is. Okay, I found the right one. Yeah, the last thing they did was Rage 2 at Bethesda. So they're one of those studios as well that got put into that, kind of helping out Bethesda, and then got roped up into the acquisition, and then got to kind of make this thing. So here's hoping. Bethesda has before done a quick marketing cycle, announced here, and it's out. And I think we don't know the slate for Xbox, and this first half has been almost monthly. Every 3 weeks, there's been a solid release with solid gaps that felt right. But we don't have that in the fall. So yeah, I think we got to fill this out. And I think a game like Contraband and Clockwork Revolution really do fit that mold there.
Ooh, interesting.
We'll talk about Clockwork next. But yeah, I think seeing my little Wikipedia research of Avalanche there, I'm even more so into what that Contraband might just drop. Not shadow drop this year. I didn't finish my sentence.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I certainly hope that other game I mentioned, Clockwork Revolution, is sooner than later. I feel like that one out of those two is more likely to be 2026. With such just the style of game it is and what it's trying to do, but who knows? What do you think about Clockwork, and how do you feel about that game in general?
I'm almost on the verge of spring 27. As you said, the style of game it is such a drastic change for that studio that I feel they would almost want more time to nail it down. Again, it's in Exile, traditionally top-down turn-based RPGs with Wasteland and stuff. So switching over to a first-person kind of shooter thing, I feel they would want that much time. But I could easily see fall 26 as well. Being a new IP, I feel Xbox would be kind of more lenient to give it more time just to even things out, like they did Fable. Hey, you guys want more time? We have enough. We don't need to force you out right now. Give it more time to kind of simmer and get what they need done. But yeah, spring 27, fall 26 is where I'm at. I would love for it to be sooner. This is right up my alley, being obviously very BioShock Infinite inspired, just in every way, shape, and form. So I'm curious to see. This was up there with South of Midnight as one of my most anticipated from that reveal showcase. So I'll take it sooner, but I could very well see way later.
Yeah, in 2018, the studio got acquired, and they had Bard's Tale 4, Barrows Deep. Then they had Wasteland Remastered and Wasteland 3 come out, and a VR Frostpoint game. And then they did, and that was in 2020. And then they did Clockwork Revolution, and it's according to them, it's the biggest in terms of scope and budget for them and everything. So it does feel and sound like Clockwork Revolution is more of a and it is billed as their first AAA game under Xbox Studios. So
Yep.
like I said, if it feels more like a game that would wait, that needs a little, not needs more time, but will get that time. And I'm sorry, the world of Clockwork, just by that trailer and announcement, like that's a world that I want to be in. I want that to land, you know?
Yeah, I'm excited. Wasteland 3 was it's a weird thing. Gene Park actually tweeted about this the other day. It came out like a month before I bought my house, so I have such vivid memories of playing that game in my empty living room with like a cardboard box as a table and just like enjoying every second of it because it's all I had around me at that point. Like
Yeah.
there's humor and gameplay and just everything they do is so solid and funny and goofy that they blend the serious stuff with the wild stuff. Like Clockwork could be special
Oh
and
my, oh
bigger
my
than I
god,
think
oh
people
yeah.
expect.
I did not know that about Wasteland, so that sells me even more on what they're doing. So yeah, take your time. 2028, 2027, whatever,
2030, fuck it.
whenever. I'll get it beamed into my forehead at some point.
Next one that I feel is pretty solid. Perfect Dark. The quadruple A game itself got its kind of big re-unveiling last year with the gameplay showcase demo.
Now here, that makes you think. A year later, we see more this June, and quote 6 months later, half a year later, it releases. Is that a 2025 release? What's the big title? I mean, obviously, if Gears is there, I really doubt Perfect Dark, but I still feel like we're not fully sure what Xbox's marketing strategy is for the majority of their games. It's hard to know for sure. Especially we just don't know the back half date wise. So I think it's not likely it comes out this fall. But I do think it is a lock to see a good chunk of it and explain the gameplay of it and show off. And it's coming out next year though.
Yeah.
That could be that could take a Doom slot in May. A game like Perfect Dark, if it's this espionage, shooter, with on-rail segments that are high action and intense, and then you get some stealthy gadget, like kind of Watch Dogs, it sounds like, type gameplay where you're hacking and doing stuff. Like, yeah, that's a cool springtime game.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think if it's any further than 27 at this point, people are going to start kind of not caring as much because it's been drug out for so long and memed at this point that, yeah, 2026 feels right. Obviously, after Fable, if it is a spring thing, I could even see it being pushed to do late summer, early fall as the big kind of title going in, but anywhere in 2026, I don't think there's any world this is any later, hopefully. But
yeah, I hope it connects. I hope it lands. I hope it's at least something that when they show it off, it's like, hell yeah. And not like, all right, that'll be fun, Because like, I liked what they showed so far, but I still think it's we need to see more, right? We're still in that phase. That could have just been a really solid vertical slice.
that's the only thing they've been working on this whole time.
And that's sometimes what they do for demos and such. It's just they perfect this one thing, and then when we couldn't do all that for everything.
Getting a little further out, I feel we have a couple that we know just based off of how things are. These are way further out. But starting off with Everwild. This is the next one from Rare that has had like 3 different showings at this point. According to insiders, has been almost completely reworked from the ground up of what it was about 2 years ago. This one's hard. I could 2027, 2028, anywhere in there. I don't even think we get a re-unveiling of this at the showcase this year.
Ooh.
It's
I feel
weird
like
because with
I
Sea
feel
of
like
Thieves still kicking, like, when do you branch that team off to do the new thing?
when they're ready to go into like an early access beta type thing, potentially.
But we
It
still,
could have moved into that realm. 2 years also, depending on how deep the rework is, of course. I doubt it's art assets and such, but like 2 years, a lot can get done, especially with the backing of a big corporation that possibly could also have said, here's some ancillary teams that are kind of flow and like we're in between. You know, they could have, especially since they're reworking it, funneled obviously more resources to it. Sea of Thieves seems to just be floating ahead. It doesn't, outside of the literal maintenance that I know goes that I am not aware of. Like obviously this work, but they're done outside of little updates. So at some point they got to, and I could see if it's a multiplayer thing like Sea of Thieves. At some point you got to show us and do something, right? But it's hard to say that's this year. But 2027 feels way too far. That seems crazy to me.
yeah, it's weird too because we're in the spot with Sea of Thieves where we are kind of in between announcements for content. Like the last thing they did was, hey, here's our next 3, and we've now reached the end of that and kind of waiting for the next big what does 2025 look like. I would be curious. I think it hinges a lot on if Xbox is comfortable letting Everwild kind of launch in the same state Sea of Thieves did originally, because Sea of Thieves 2018 was dogged on left and right. Like there was very
Good point.
minuscule content. There was not a lot to do. People were not happy, and it took the
You can't
years
do
of
that.
rebuilding. So
Yeah, and you can't do that this year. That's a good point. Yeah, and in this time you can. If you have a multiplayer focused thing that comes out dead in the water with not enough, with a promise, that's such a steep climb, and that's what everyone's talking about with Marathon, anyways. And
Yep.
Bungie's of course saying, "Hey, nope, we'll show it off then. No NDA." It's like, all right, good job. You're doing the right things for someone saying we want to build it with the community. Xbox, I believe, would give them that time. I think 100%. I don't think Xbox has to give them that time publicly. I think they can give them the time behind the scenes. So, like, you convinced me. I don't think it's sooner, but
27.
yeah, I totally think Xbox would give them the time if that game, if they're seeing something there and they're like, yep, it's worth the investment. Like, there's no need to rush it. I think there's enough stuff coming out.
Next one to get rapid fire some of these. Next game from Arcane, Blade, revealed 2 years ago at this point now, coming off the heels of Redfall and what that was. Blade to me is a 2027, 2028. We've seen nothing since that reveal trailer. Again, it's a weird case of does Xbox have them release the game in a weird state and relive those memories, or give them the time to sort of nail this down? Plus, working with the new IP partnership with Disney, how far along was this actually in by the time they did the reveal? Was it kind of early stages still to get people's eyes on? Weird spot. But 2027, 2028 for me, I can almost see 2028. We're looking
Well,
way
here's
ahead
the
now.
thing. This is by Arcade Lion. This isn't the Redfall team. So it is a different studio in Arcane.
So that
They
would have been
helped
Deathloop. Would have been the last
Deathloop.
thing.
Yeah. So
2021 then.
which Arcane, but then there's there's different buildings. So looking at the stuff real quick. This is just Wikipedia as best we can do. Arcane Austin released first-person shooter Redfall, and then at the same time, this Blade stuff was starting to go. So just because Redfall was in 2023 doesn't mean that Blade is not farther than we think, especially with what type of game that is, I bet everyone, especially post Redfall, I bet that's all Arcane is really focused on, is getting that Blade to be something that isn't shit. Not saying that Redfall was shit, but just,
It struggled.
not using words here. But yeah, does that mean that comes out sooner than later? No, I think it's solidly a 2026 game. I think that release 3 years.
Ooh.
Come on, we gotta not do a 4 to 5 year release thing. That's ridiculous. I think next year makes the most sense.
That would be wild.
Or this year, baby. Let's do it.
This year. I'm saving this year because I have one.
I'm saying you're saying this year?
No, there's something else I think could be this year that I don't think.
Ooh, okay.
Because in my head too,
OD.
mentally, I'm like, we have these, and then I'm looking at the studios that just released stuff in the past year. Like, how fast is their turnaround going to be to fill in these 27s, 28 spots? But that's like big brain thinking. I would love
that's
next
silly
year.
thinking.
I would love next year.
Yeah. No, that seems like a next fall one. Line it up with October. Get the haunties.
I'll meet you. I'm putting it in between 2026, 2027.
Dang, it's a whole other studio working on it within Arcane. And the moment you get that right, a lot has to go into it, because if you mess up a Marvel property, it ain't gonna be that's off.
God, yeah.
Can't mess up Blade.
Disney's coming for you. Next one, I think we'll hopefully meet that this probably our only 2028 title, I feel, the way things go with this studio. But the other
Shadow Drop, baby.
The other recently unveiled OD, Kojima.
Here's the thing though. It's also a partnership with Jordan Peele. So it's not like Kojima needs to be 100% on board with it. I do think it's farther out, 2028. However, 2027 wouldn't surprise me because of that aspect, right? There's 2 people on it, and depending on what they're doing, if Kojima's doing more of the game stuff with Peele's horror influences, it's probably kind of like a Death Stranding situation where, well, hold on, I'm thinking of, it's probably like an Elden Ring thing where George R.R. Martin wrote the world, and then they came in and added the Miyazaki gameplay stuff on top, within it to make it fit, right? That might be what we're getting. So, hey, it could, but I don't know. I agree. It's most likely 2028 beyond.
With OD, I think it comes down to mostly how much Kojima's stretching his studio, because obviously it's been in development a while, but they've had Death Stranding 2. They have the other third 10 Fizzant or whatever it was. So they have multiple things going there.
Well, he has, this. Isn't there something? Odie's the next one though, right? And then it's Fizzant. That's the way he announced it, all right. Yep. So most likely, this is already in development. All those people walking over to him and getting scanned, all those celebrities, they're probably within Death Stranding 2 and OD in some realm. So it'll be fascinating to see more. I mean, that when that trailer hits, goddamn. But yeah, I don't expect a trailer this year. Obviously at Game Awards we can get an OD trailer though.
Teaser. 100%.
So you could start this early and it could come out in 2030.
The last seemingly for announced stuff outside of Elder Scrolls, there's not even going to bother to put on here at this point. Last release was last year. I
can't wait till Elder Scrolls gets announced and released in a 6-month fashion.
Next one, Project Mara. The next title from Ninja Theory. Actively, openly in development at the same time as Hellblade 2. I could see this being a 2026. With how long it was in development at the same time as Hellblade 2. I feel a lot of that team probably transitioned over to this right away with a small select few doing brainstorming for the thing after, but this feels like the next natural quick release for them. Hellblade 2, personally, I feel a lot of that struggle was with Unreal Engine 5, and now that they kind of have that tech layered down and how to use it properly, there'll be sort of faster turnaround with it. I also think Phil came out and said that they openly pre-announced Hellblade 2 sooner than they should have. So I feel Project Mara could be a 2026, if not absolute
Ooh.
2027.
Yeah, I could see this being. This is the game that could come out. This is the game that could come out this year. If they're doing it at the same time, they have a teaser already that was posted in January 2020. They posted a teaser for Project Mara in 2020. The game is a real world and grounded representation of mental terror based on real lived experience accounts and in-depth research with the aim of recreating the horrors of the mind as accurately and realistically as possible, which is what they did in Hellblade, but stylized within the story of Senua. Yeah, dude, this game could drop at any moment. The teaser, if you watch I got anxiety. I got anxious listening to this teaser as he was talking. I had to turn it off. I was like, oh my god, the noises. I was like, I hate them. I love them so much. No, dude, that teaser, if they're working on it, they feed together. Yo, this game could come out of nowhere. This is a game that could come out this year and be one of those experiences like Hellblade that's like put on the headphones, enjoy your time. Is it a tech demo? Nah. Yes. It's also a mental health demo, buddy. Like, we're exploring that shit.
God.
That's 5 years ago they posted that. And they did all that research for Senua while also, hey, thanks for your interviews. We're going to use those for this now, too. We're going to take those interviews and can we put you in game? Wow, I'm excited for that. And I'm not going to buy. I don't know if I'll play it. Scary.
I'll give it to you. I talked to you in the Clockwork Revolution. I'll give it to you. God, that would be wild.
I talked you into Project Mara, dude.
Yeah.
Just an October Game Pass release too. When that Ninja Theory trailer, when that hits and that sound, woohoo! Project Mara.
God. Last couple here because we were running long.
Yeah, we are. We're going for it. I love it.
I said screw it, but Elder Scrolls for funsies. Bethesda coming off Starfield and expansion / PS5 release. I don't even know without sounding like a dick. I don't think this is still anytime soon. The way Bethesda works, that core team obviously was on Starfield, and now that Starfield's done, their full force has probably moved on to this, but it's so hard. So hard to even imagine where this is. 2027 off the top sounds right, but that even sounds soon.
26 or 27, I think. I don't think it's that like crazy to be like, it's earlier than like I don't think it's that crazy to think about it being earlier. And also getting a short announcement to release cycle. The moment they show everything in a trailer and that's all we need, right? And they keep shooting themselves in the foot. So at some point, do what you did with Fallout 4. And they're going to, I think, with this game. Won't be this year. That's insane. Mostly for Xbox's slot and GTA. Like, no. This is nerdy people's GTA, right? Like this, if the new Elder Scrolls, if it can capture Skyrim, right? If it can capture that again, like this is gonna be Renaissance GTA level potentially. With the Oblivion remake, obviously remaster, heavily it's basically announced for tomorrow. Will it drop tomorrow? Who knows? It will be out this year, right? So, what is all that work? Those screenshots are crazy for Oblivion. The side by side, I'm like, that's like a remaking of it. Obviously, does that tie into this? No, I don't know. It's just I would hope it is 2026 with a reveal June and a release that fall. I think that would be amazing. Starfield came out 2023. We got a DLC last year. We'll get a DLC this year. And then that's the sunset of Starfield being actively having DLC and stuff developed for it. It'll rely on the mod community and then it'll be supported and get random updates here and now, with 2026 to 2027 being where Elder Scrolls drops.
I don't know.
But
I'm keeping it in the middle with Blade for now.
Yeah. Because with Elder Scrolls, you can't mess it up either. I think they, especially post Starfield, right? Like, I think there's a little more. And I also, do we know what engine they're on? Should they be making a jump to an Unreal? It seems like across the board people are doing that. And Bethesda's like, come on, that's a lot of what people complain about. Not that I mean, I think if they fix, but that could also speed up development if they just outsource their engine and they have a huge ass community to rely on, and then you can hire people that already know their engine instead of, hey, welcome, here's 3, 4, 5 months of training on our engine because we got to get you up to speed because it's a very specific thing. Who knows, right? I don't know.
I think Elder Scrolls right now fully depends on kind of the reception Bethesda got from Starfield's launch and reviews and people's discussion about it. I would hope that Elder Scrolls they have scaled back to be more contained stories, more contained world, not as generated and open as Starfield was, which could fix a lot of those issues and turn around development time on it. And I hope scaling it back is enough to be sooner than later. But again, even with Starfield's reveal or not reveal, but the reception again, like you just mentioned with the engine, is that enough for them to switch engines? Is that enough for them to fully switch gears on how they're doing things? And I don't think that's answers we're gonna get anytime soon, but when it is, it'll make sense of how it fits.
Yeah, I hope as long as they don't make 12 good cities and then procedurally generate and fill it after that, and they're like, we made it even better. Now it's smarter. It's like, no, just make the world, my friends. Make the world.
And craft that shit.
And less, I think, you know what? If anything, like it'll be less loading screens. Like you don't have a loading screen when you walk in, and everyone will lose their mind.
Be enough.
But yeah, no, when that drops, it'll be like a GTA type thing of, whoa, shit, watch out for that one. Like, get out of the way of it. Not as high highs of it, but I keep saying, I hope it's a Fallout 4 style release. Just give us it, announcement in June, showcase in June, and then move. And it's like this fall. See ya.
God, I would love. Next one I threw in here already.
And maybe I'll play one.
Dude,
I have yet to play an Elder Scrolls.
Try Oblivion when it comes out. It'll be on.
I'm not playing this old game on Xbox that is like, thank you Xbox for cloud, like letting me play it. I can play my 360. It's on Game Pass right now. Awesome. I like old game old. Maybe they should remake it, but
so
I don't
better
believe
than
rumors.
Skyrim in every way, shape, and form.
I know, but I like modern games. I don't believe rumors, my friend. So I can't say confidently I will ever play this game.
You've been playing this 10-year-old Destiny shit. Get out of here.
They update that yearly.
I threw in here Double Fine unannounced title in spring this year was the other one I was thinking would be not necessarily Shadow Drop, but I don't think they need long marketing time. Out by summer, this was again rumors from last year that it was going to Shadow Drop last developer direct and never did / never announced. So
yeah, they heard you and they were like, nah.
No. And again, they were openly working on 2 different IPs while they were finishing up Psychonauts in 2022. So like this needs to be ready. Let them do their new thing. And I think that mostly covers things outside of like extreme rumors and like stuff like Call of Duties and stuff that we just our nose. We could throw a Halo in here where that is with their new rebrand last year with Halo Studios, but
oh yeah, no, I think before 2027 we get a Halo, possibly Unreal remaster or reboot. Right, I think for sure they already showed that off, but that's a good one. But yeah, I don't, man, when we see Halo next will be interesting because also seeing Halo to me doesn't just mean Halo Infinite multiplayer updates and stuff like that, the championship series. That stuff's awesome. Like that. Keep updating that for the community. It is what it is in the current state. That's good. Support it though. But yeah, I want to know what's next. When's the next game? Where's the story? Just honestly, they're gonna reboot it and tell the story of the show that Netflix is gonna keep producing for some reason. Yeah, that's the only other thing I think. Big stuff. I'm looking at their studios and nothing crazy is like a Forza.
I was just gonna add Forza in the next.
It's another Halo style one where like we're getting another Forza Motorsport and a Horizon at some point. Do I need it right away? No.
No, I don't think it's
Nah.
right away, but I would almost guarantee Horizon 6 is next year.
Oh, in 2026. Yeah,
Yeah,
duh.
almost guarantee.
Oh no, it's gonna come June 6, 2026, Horizon 6.
Oh yeah, they're gonna love that.
Horizon, this time we're sent to hell.
It's a crossover with Doom exclusively, erasing the dragons.
Dude, oh my god. A Forza Horizon set in an Xbox world where you get to drive to the different properties like Mario? Sign me up.
Okay, we need to count this because that's getting wild.
I know, yeah, we're going off the rails here. This is what happens when we record after an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, God.
That's why you gotta stick around. It's loopy.
It gets wild after dark. Yeah, I think that'll do it though for the list where things are releasing, which is still wild because you think about id and where they're at unannounced. Like there's so many studios still that are filling in the spaces here later on. There's a lot to be excited about. I can't wait.
Wait, what's id? Oh, they're not under this list. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm like looking at Xbox Studios. I'm like, what studio is he talking about? They're under Bethesda. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Lots to be
Yeah, no, and you
excited
can,
about.
and in Activision and all those properties and titles that are just dormant, and all the studios that could be doing stuff.
The new Activision studio they just started last year. Like,
So we're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games possibly that they're going to announce this year, which from June to December, that's one a month, not counting any third party, and of course smaller titles that come out of nowhere. With Gears of War, E-Day being the big fall release. Oh, we don't have Outer Worlds on here, but Outer Worlds 2 as well.
Outer Worlds 2, yeah, that's is for
Gears
sure
and Outer
25.
World being the fall. Gears and Outer World being the 2025 big titles. That makes sense. Xbox, here you go. We did the work for you. You can put these on the calendar. I'll let you choose the days specifically. But, here's your general time slots.
I was like, I'll send this directly to Stein. I have an in with him now on Twitter, so give us the marketing, please. Yeah, I just left Outer Worlds out too because that is like a for sure kind of set this year. We know, but
oh yeah, no, I was just counting what we predicted. But yeah, you add that in there, and this is I like this. That's a good 2025. I think those two. I hope Gears of War comes out this year. I'm down for that type of game.
Co-op, baby. I'm here. I'm ready.
Oh yeah, we can do that. That'd be fun.
But let us know what you guys think as we wrap up here. We will be rejoining you this coming Sunday to talk Marathon. I'm excited. And Oblivion. It's gonna be a good week.
I got so excited when that email popped. I had a legitimate response of just yes, oh my god, yes, because yeah, it's awesome. The fact that they took the NDA off, that you can stream it, you can talk about it, we're gonna be able to cover it. So yeah, as soon as I can, my wife, I get that email, and it was shortly after we finalized plans for my wife to go out of town on the 23rd, and then the beta starts the 23rd. So it was just a funny coincidence of that's hilarious. But it's still May 4th. We'll be able to play it, cover it. I'll play it while we're talking about it next week.
Perfect.
I'm so excited to see what Bungie's cooking, and I hope it lands it long enough. Yeah.
I'll just have your stream in the side window here as we're going.
Yeah, just have you just invite a guest, and you can just check in with me periodically.
Perfect. That'll be it for
Marathon
us.
Cam.
God, that'll be it for us this week. Content wise, still doing shorts and videos on YouTube, TikTok, expanding a lot more into those spaces. Doing good. I did also get the newest Doom Xbox controller. I did impressions and preview on YouTube and TikTok. So check that out. Yeah. It's been doing okay.
Yeah, go check that out. Great overview. The controller's sick. That's a very, very cool controller. Was it normal or the Elite?
The regular one. But it got here in 2
yeah.
days. I ordered it Wednesday and it got here Friday. I was like, holy shit.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I need another Elite, and I that one didn't sell me on it, but look up close, they do so much shit to the controller. It's not just a skin on it. A really nice controller if you're into Doom.
Also sometime this week, I'm not sure when it will be coming out, but I did first guest spot on another podcast this past weekend. For you Kind of Funny best friends, it is the Kind of Funny guest bedroom. I joined Simba over there for, it was 2.5 hours.
Oh my
just
gosh.
on Marathon, Nintendo stuff, general gaming stuff, hanging out. super awesome time. Go check them out. They're also just starting. I think this will be episode 5, 6 I was on, so I'll post that when that releases finally. As always, check out Kyle the Do, all the places, YouTube's, Blue Skies, wherever you want to find and hear his voice. I'm sure it'll be a ton of marathon stuff this week. And
Yes.
backlogs for me, also all the places. We appreciate you all so much. We'll catch you all Sunday. Exciting times. Exciting times. Peace.
Peace.